Hello, what if you could add another layer of realism to farming similar to 25 and at the same time increase your yield? Would you be interested? Hi, I'm Farmer Teacher. I'm going to show you just that. Stick around. Okay, this is a mod, and the way you're going to find it, you're going to go to the Mod Hub and type in crop rot, and that's it right here. It's called crop rotation. Look at that. And it's got 4.5 stars. It's very well liked. It does a great job. They've had a couple of updates recently. They fixed a bug on the maps with removed standard fruits. They added some new crops. They fixed an error when sowing with precision farming. So if you've tried it before and had those errors, then those are now fixed. So let's take a look at this thing inside the game. Okay, before you get started with the crop rotation mod, what you might want to do is harvest your fields before you turn it on. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, if you look at the bottom right there, and it's hard for you to see, but I'll read it to you. It says the last fruit was wheat. This is barley this is wheat, I'm sorry. And the last fruit was wheat. Well, that lowers your yield. And before that, it was carrots. Okay, before that, it was carrots. So our crop rotation yield is only 65%. Not very good, 65%. Because our goal is to have it more than that. So if I turn that on right now and harvest this field, my yield's going to be lower. What I recommend you do, if you start a new map, harvest what you got that's ready to harvest and go back out and then come in and activate the crop rotation mod, or else it's going to cut into your first yield there. So having said that, this is the way you do it. Now once the mod is loaded, you're going to see this little circle here. Okay, looks like crop rotation. And that's a crop rotation planner. Okay, we are in field number 7 here. So what we're going to do is take a look at that, field 7. Okay, if you're having a controller, you can see on the bottom there, it tells you how to add a crop. Okay, we're going to add one, and I'm going to call it field 7 because that's what we got here. And you got to have some kind of thing at first. So we have wheat now. I'm going to stick with wheat. I'm going to add another one. You need at least 3 of these for it to work, but you can have several. Okay, so I add another one. Fallow land means that it's blank, and you can also play with catch crops. And I'll show you some literature in a second. Sometimes catch crops are good and sometimes they're not. And that's when you just leave it blank for a season, fallow land. If you plant the same thing, it's going to continue to drop. Let's put one more field in there. Look at that, not good, 40%. And that's as low as it'll go. But what if I put barley there? Oh, look. And then wheat again. Well, I need a third rotation maybe. So you can play with these numbers. All right, look at this. I got wheat, I got barley, I got canola. 120, 120, 125% without using a catch crop. That's pretty doggone good. All right, let's look at another field here. Okay, this one has soybeans in it, field 6. So we're going to add another one, field 6. Okay, right now it's soybeans. Okay, I'm going to add 3 more, or 2 more, so I have 3 total. And we had soybeans now. And let's see what we can do. Wheat, barley. Okay, can't plant barley, canola. Oats. Okay, soybeans, barley, oats. And I can harvest all of these with my grain header. So that's good. I don't have to get another header. And look at that. Lowest one is 115%. That's pretty good. And you can put, sometimes your catch crops do good. Okay, that increased it, I think. And sometimes they don't. Okay, that actually reduces the soybeans. But the oats, look at that, 135%. So if I did catch crops like that, before, you got to plant it and then harvest the oilseed radish and then plant barley. That'll get you even more percentage. Look at that. Look at that, if you wanted to do that. I probably opt not to do a catch crop just because it's an extra step. But if you needed see there, it reduces it. But if you needed the thing, that's the most you can get right there with those. And that's the ones you can use the catch crop on. So that's how you do it. And you got to figure out which crops you want to do based on what you're doing. Let me show you a game I got going on right now. Okay, we're here on my real farm here that I've been playing here for a while. Now let me just, before I do this, let me show you something else on the menu. Okay, this is your crop rotation planner that I've set up for these fields. And let me just show you, if you go down here to where settings are and go over to help, click on help, and then at the top you're going to scroll to the right and you're going to see crop rotation. Okay, and this gives you some good information on it. Talks about the planner and how it works and how to set it up. Okay, and then, like I went over, and then if you go down one to here, it gives you some really good hints based on the crop. Okay, so here's an example, and you can read all this verbiage, but for example, wheat. Very good preceding crops for wheat are corn, soybeans, potatoes, sugar beets, beetroot, and sunflower. So if you have those before wheat goes in the field, you'll get a better yield. And some pretty good ones are beans and peas. If you have those before the wheat, you'll get a decent yield. What you don't want are the bad ones, such as wheat, barley, or grass, right before you plant wheat, because it's going to cut into your yield quite a bit. Okay, and they go down the line like that. So for barley, very good preceding crops, corn, soybeans, potatoes, sugar beets, and beetroots. They're a little bit different than it was for wheat. Good preceding crops, wheat, oats, beans, peas, canola, and sunflowers. Things you don't want to plant before barley, barley and grass. All right, let's look at oats. Very good preceding crops, wheat or barley. Good preceding crops, corn, soybeans, peas, potatoes, canola, sugar beets, and sunflowers. Bad preceding crops, oats. And there you go. You can look, I'm not going to go through all these, but you can do that at your leisure. Now, let me go back to my planner, because of what I'm doing on my map here. I have a large chicken barn. I have 600 chickens. So what I'm trying to do is plant crops for the most part and be sure I have enough to feed my chickens. I need about 76,000 liters. Let me see real quick. 73,000 liters of food for a year, for a season. Okay, and that can be a combination of wheat, barley, and sorghum. So that's why I'm planting a lot of wheat and barley and some sorghum. Okay, so at any given time, even though I went from wheat, barley, and then soybeans, but then I got barley, oats. Oats I can't use. I'm just going to sell that. Same thing with the soybeans. But the barley and the wheat can go to my chickens. Soybeans, again, I can sell it. And the barley and sorghum can go to my chickens. Now, what I'm going to do is set this up. Later, I'm going to get some pigs. I'm going to need to add some corn and stuff in there. I'll probably have to get another field, but I'll also gear that toward the corn that I have. And you can label these when you go through there. I had these labeled like my fields. 7, 6, and 4 are labeled on my planner there. And it tells me at any given time. Right now I'm in the middle one there, barley, oats, and barley again. Now in field 6, I had soybeans last time, and I got to plant barley this time. But you harvest soybeans in October after the season for planting barley, because you normally plant that in September. So I got to wait another season. That's one reason soybeans are good to precede barley, because it waits a long time and the soil replenishes. Okay, it will require you to do some planning. It's going to add another level of realism to farming similar to 25, but it will increase your yield for a little extra planning work. Okay, it's going to increase your yield, because all mine are over 100. So that's it. I'm Farmer Teacher. Share this with your farming buddies. I'll see you on the next go round. Bye-bye.